Welcome back to our F1 2020 Ferrari Return to Glory career mode. Today we've got the 7th round of the season, the Canadian Grand Prix, and I forgot what it was at the end of the last episode, but that's because obviously we're doing the 16 race calendar, so we skipped some out. We're skipping out Baku then at this stage. Now then, we actually have done quite a lot of the early upgrades now for the aero and the chassis, so we actually can't afford to do anything at the moment. So we're just going to have to skip a bit of time then, where we did thankfully get the latest aero upgrade on the car, so that's good. And now we can move on to the final, I think, hexagon upgrade there, which is on the chassis. And we're actually not doing too badly with that. I mean, it's saying that like chassis is something we need to upgrade, but we're actually we nearly have the best one. Only Red Bull are better than us at the moment on that sense. But interestingly, Red Bull and Mercedes seem to have barely upgraded so far this season. It seems to be a lot of teams further down that have really been making moves so far. But I guess at any moment they could just spring on a load of upgrades and pull away again. So we've got to keep on upgrading if we can. Obviously we're limited in what we can upgrade, but heading into this weekend then, and it's looking like we're going to have some rain then hit the end of qualifying, so that could be quite interesting, assuming we get that far of course. But it's looking like a dry race then, as we continue to rack up some points then, or some resource points then during practice. And straight into Q1 now then, and well, it's not a good start because we exceeded track limits there, so we had to go out again then on these tyres, which we already done a lap or so on, so that wasn't exactly ideal, and it sort of set us back a little bit during qualifying, but we did improve eventually then to set a lap time that was good enough to get us through. Only 9th place, but not too far off really, although you'd expect the gaps to be a bit closer here, or with it being a shorter track. Bit of mixed up bottom of the grid then, with Kvyat only 19th there, so Russell managing to out-qualify him, and then Magnussen and Giovinazzi both out as well there then. A bit more normal I guess, but yeah, it's a bit of a surprise there to see the AlphaTauri that far down. On to Q2, where there's rain forecast, so we're up nice and early here to get a lap done, not messing about with mediums, we're just going straight for it on the soft tyres. We set our best lap time so far then, well I think it was anyway, 1:08.8, and somehow Hamilton was a whole second clear of everyone else there, well nearly a second, just close enough. Verstappen's on the medium, so is Bottas, but Bottas has a 5-place penalty then. Stroll only 15th on the Inters, and there must have been an incident when they were out on dry tyres or something that stopped Stroll from getting in a quick lap, because Bottas has landed himself a 5-place penalty then for an incident there. Didn't see what it was, but that was really going to set back the Mercedes driver then, who already needs to make up some ground in the championship. On to Q3, which is properly wet now then, and our first lap time isn't going to be too great. We've had a bit of a messy lap here then, and we saw it there in the fast chicane going a bit wide. We set the slowest time then with our first run, but we're going to do what we did in Spain and just keep on going here for another lap, and we're already improving, and by the halfway point of the lap we're nearly a second up on our personal best, so this could be a big improvement here then. We'll see how far the grid it gets us, as we're half a second up on Albon, who's 6th, so this should get us hopefully into the top half of the top 10 then, as we come to the line. And well, it's 6th place then, so we did beat Albon, but still behind our teammate then, but still we haven't always been close to him this season, so that is not too bad. But the track did actually dry up right for the end of the session. I think it is still a bit damp, but the dry tyres then are the better ones to be on at this stage. So we're going out then, we're going to be last over the line as well, so that's going to play into our hands. I was out at the final chicane, but no, we pushed too hard then. We've gone, well, we split up the rear tyres, we've slid across and into the barriers, broken our front wing, and well, we may well still improve on our lap time because we're on dry tyres now, but we're not going to beat anyone else here. So it's looking like we're going to just end up 10th then, unless somebody doesn't set a time. We run wide again, and that's the rest of the front wing gone, and it's looking like it might get lodged into the car, will it? Wow, we're just about thankfully managing to shake it off there, because that could have quite easily gone into the car there and we've been going straight on that chicane. But well, either way, we're not improving our position, I don't think. We're going to improve our lap time by a fair bit just from being on dry tyres, but still, we have absolutely bottled this qualifying then. We come to the line, we're going to stay in 10th place then, with everyone else improving on the soft tyres. And again, Hamilton a second clear, Albon a second behind, but then nearly 2 seconds clear of the next car, so I don't know what was going on there. But Bottas was actually quite far down as well, so we're actually going to move up the grid from that. So yeah, another shocker there then, and it's really played into Hamilton's hands again. But the rivalry is still playing into our hands then, because thankfully for us, Sainz had a pretty bad qualifying as well there then. So yeah, that still worked out quite well for us then. As well, yeah, thankfully then I guess the race is going to be completely dry, so no more weather changing to, well, for us to worry about there then. And we'll see what we can do then, making our way through the field a bit from where we started, because I think we are a little bit out of position. We'll see how far up we can get then as we now head to the race.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history. It could be the cause of a safety car today. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Now, I want to talk to you about Valtteri Bottas. They're in for a tough race today. They'll be starting out of position due to a penalty from earlier in the weekend.
It's unfortunate, but it happens to everyone at some point. You just have to accept your fate, knuckle down and get on with the business of making up that deficit during the Grand Prix. So they'll be pushing hard today. One to watch for sure.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, just edging out Alexander Albon, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Ocon, Perez, Norris, the scientist, and Carlos Sainz. Gasly, Bottas. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean, Stroll, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and George Russell, Kvyat, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
It's a two-stop strategy then that the team have laid out for us. That often doesn't happen. They often say that a one-stop will be quicker, but they're saying that it's going to be a two-stop today then. Obviously, of course, part of the career mode, we obviously are going to follow that strategy, so we'll see how it works out. I would have thought that maybe you could do a one-stop here, maybe if you eke the soft tyres out and then go over to hard, but I guess this is one of the shorter pit lanes actually, so you may well not lose that much time really from doing extra stops here, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how this will actually play out then. We are indeed up in 9th place then because of Bottas having that grid penalty, so he's going to be someone to watch out for behind us, but for us though, we've got some what should be slower cars now in front of us. We've pulled away from the likes of McLaren and Racing Point and Renault now, so we should hopefully be able to make our way through the field and get back ahead of them then as we line up on the grid and the lights come on now. Away we go then, and it is a solid start I think then. We're getting alongside Norris there as Perez is having a look at Ocon as well there. We're going to lunge up the inside. Perez just about gives us enough room there. Around the outside of turn 2, can we get through here then? We're going to be side by side. We're going to go into overtake now then towards the chicane of turns 3 and 4. Round the outside, and we have managed to get it then on the inside line for turn 4 as our teammate is actually lost out there. So we're now right behind him, so yeah, bit of a disappointing start there then for Leclerc. He's behind Renault of Ocon as we exit then that chicane, and Perez has actually got a great run this now then towards this next chicane. Can't remember what these corner numbers are, so that's annoying, but we've managed to at least hold off Perez there then, but he's now got another strong run then. We've just not hooking up really, I don't think, out of some of those corners, and Perez then once again with a great run, but we managed to outbrake him into the hairpin, and we managed to stay ahead for the time being. A brief yellow flag there, but I think that was probably just because it all bunched up on the well, down into that braking zone of the hairpin. We see then the replay of the start, and yeah, we see that it was a decent one from us. I think our teammate had a bit of a slow one though, so that was probably where he lost out, and we just tried to make sure we didn't get boxed in at all, and that worked out quite nicely for us then, as we managed to make our way around the outside then of Perez there then, and we just hung it out there running outside, and that gave us the inside line for the next part. So yeah, that worked out quite nicely for us there. As we see, Leclerc was just a bit slow off the line there, and that put both Ocon and Perez on him straight away there then, and Ocon then doing kind of what we did, he went running outside, and then that allowed him to take the inside line for the next corner, but he hasn't got the move done yet. He's now going to go the inside into the chicane. There's a little bit of contact there actually, but Ocon just about did enough there to get ahead. We see then from Bottas down in 12th place on the grid. He's got a lot of work to do today then to get back up the field, but he didn't have really the best start, and in fact his compatriot Kimi Raikkonen was getting alongside him then through his first few corners. He is on the medium, so he may well be going a bit longer into this race then, and maybe a bit slower at the start, but still it's not really an ideal start there, but he does at least manage to maintain his position. As we rejoin the action now then on lap 3, where we're still behind our teammate then. In fact, we were almost a bit too close there then into the hairpin. We messed up our braking a little bit there, but we're going to have DRS then. I don't know if he'll be close enough to actually make a move, because he will also have DRS then, or Ocon in front of him. As we're approaching now then the final chicane, and we've braked too late there. We've run wide. We're going to go round the little bollard there to make sure we don't get a penalty, and Norris is going to go through, and so is Sainz. That has worked out terribly for us there, and yeah, that was a bit of a mistake from us then, braking too late, but thankfully we've got away with no damage at least, but we've got a bit more work to do now then. As yeah, we're just nearly round to the back of him. I know you probably don't have to go around that thing, but I didn't want to risk getting a penalty, so I just decided play it safe, drive around the bollard thing, and yeah, we did indeed get away with no penalty then. As you see just how close it was there from Leclerc on board, and yeah, that would have been pretty bad if we'd run into the back of him there. But nonetheless then, we've got some work to do now and to make up some of these places again, as the team McLaren are actually now going to have a bit of a fight then, which is not really what we want, because they're just slowing us all up here now then, as we can see that group is pulling away up in front of us, as Sainz is on the attack now then against Lando Norris. He's going to have the inside line for turn 2, and I think he's going to have that move done then and up into 8th place, so that's a move done then, and hopefully they will now stop battling so that we can all get a move on here then and catch back up to that group up in front of us then, as we skip to later on in the lap now then, and we really just want to start getting these moves done now. We're going to have DRS then on Norris, but he will probably also still have it on his teammate. We're pretty close though, and we've got a good run, so it's looking like that won't even matter then, as we are alongside, we're ahead, and into the braking zone we have taken the place then, and we're back up to where we started then in 9th position, but it's the other McLaren now then that's in front of us of Carlos Sainz, who of course is our rival, so we want to get back ahead of him if we can here then, and I think we certainly have the pace in this car to do so now, as we go into Rich then and overtake once again. We're quite a way back, but I think we're going to reel him back in here then. This Ferrari engine, we haven't upgraded it all season, but it's still working quite well, as round the outside then into the final corner we just had a lot of confidence on the brakes, as well as some good straight line speed, and that allowed us to take that position. And we see then from the replay just how much confidence there we are on the brakes there to just sweep around the outside and take our, well, normal line pretty much into the chicane there then. On lap 8 we're now getting called in for the first of our 2 stops here then onto the medium tyres, and we're back onto this group now then, although we are of course still behind Sergio Perez, who we had originally overtaken at the start. We're going to be actually first in of that group, well, apart from Ricciardo, who was right near the front of it then, so maybe we'll have a bit of an advantage then on both our teammate and also Sergio Perez there. We have a decent link stop there, and we'll see then where we rejoin, hopefully into some clear air here then. As out of the pits we come then, Ricciardo is going to be a few seconds in front of us, Where are we going to be joined? Well, it's actually going to be dead last then, but we are at least in a bit of clear air for the time being, unlike Ricciardo, who was, well, 2.5 seconds up in front of us, but by the end of the lap, we're right behind him then, because he has not made any progress. It's a bit of a repeat of Monaco going on, but you'd think it'd be a bit easier to overtake here then. Some cars do pit, thankfully, but I think either way we'd have a much easier job of passing them than we would in Monaco last time out. As out the pits comes Ocon and Leclerc then, they're going to be side by side with us. We've just about jumped Leclerc, he's got a good run out the corner. In fact, we lunge on the brakes then at Ocon and we take the place off him, so we've gained 2, maybe even 3 places out of that then, because I think Perez is behind us as well there then, so that's worked out very nicely then. And what a shot this is then of Ocon and Leclerc rejoining the pits then alongside their respective teammates. That was a really aesthetically pleasing shot there as they came out of the pits there, but we managed to get ahead of Ocon then nonetheless. And yeah, that has set us up quite nicely then at this stage of the race, as Kvyat then, who's having a miserable weekend, is now being overtaken by us. He's also been overtaken by Ricciardo, and he's still behind the Williams of George Russell there as well. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with him this weekend. Russell pits then in front of Ricciardo. We'll see if we can overtake him, but I think we're too far back, and he's also got DRS there, so I don't think that's going to happen. As we're up to 6th place now then, but I think the only car then, well, the only cars still to pit then are the 2 front runners on mediums, which was Bottas and Verstappen. Obviously Bottas was behind us, so hopefully he will still be behind us then once he's made this stop. Yes, looking like that is indeed going to be the case then, as we overtaken then, and we're up now to 5th place. That has worked out quite nicely for us, pitting that lap earlier and getting a couple of overtakes done on some of those back marker cars. We're still on the back of Ricciardo here then, as we see up in front of us then Verstappen on the fresh soft tyres then goes straight to work then, passing his teammate Alexander Albon, and we'll see now then if he can go after the race leader Lewis Hamilton. On to lap 17, where we're still maintaining good pace here with Ricciardo. We're dropping Ocon and Leclerc, but we just can't get the move done on this Renault, which is getting a bit frustrating really. We want to be trying to clear him if we can. There's yellow flags up in front of us though, and Lewis Hamilton, the race leader and championship leader, is out of the race then. We just passed him there at the side of the road, but Lewis Hamilton, for the first time this season, is not going to finish then. He's had an almost perfect season so far. He's won the last 5 races, but he's not going to win this one then, and we're now battling Ricciardo then for 3rd place. It's a comfortable Red Bull 1-2 at the moment, and well, yeah, we're nearly looking at our first podium now then. Here is Hamilton. He was out front and then, yep, just lost power by the looks of things, but incredibly it's still not going to work out too badly for him, because Bottas is only down in about 9th place at the moment, so even now he's not really going to lose that much. So I mean, he's picked the perfect weekend really to have a reliability issue, so yeah, he just keeps on. Well, even when he gets it wrong, it's still not that bad. Well, I mean, he didn't really get it wrong, but it just went wrong for him. But for us though, we're going for now a podium place then, alongside Ricciardo, rounding outside into the final chicane, and we've finally got the move done then. We're up to 3rd place. Can we maintain this now to the end of the race? We see the replay then, Ricciardo went defensive, but we were just a little bit close this time. We were later on the brakes. Ricciardo tried to hang it out there, but I think he actually lost the back end then on the exit. And yeah, we'll see now then if we can maintain this checkered flag and take our first podium in Formula 1. Into the pits we're going to come then for our 2nd pit stop on lap 21 then. Verstappen pits on the same lap as us. He's also looking pretty good at this stage then, on course to take his first win of the season. And well, it's a bit of a slow start there actually, because Ricciardo came in behind us. We'd actually managed to pull out a bit of a gap to him once we actually got ahead of him. Leclerc and Ocon were in earlier because they went for another set of soft tyres, whereas me and Ricciardo were on mediums, so we'll see where they are in comparison to us. We're still ahead of Leclerc then. He's also jumped Ocon. It's looking like he may well have actually jumped Ricciardo then as well, so that's going to have worked out quite nicely for us then as a team, because that should be then a net P3 and P4 then. We see then Leclerc, he was indeed ahead of Ocon there, and he has indeed overtaken Ricciardo as well there then. So Ricciardo getting leapfrogged in the pits, and it's looking, yeah, like a solid team result now then. We'll see what we can do about the Red Bulls, but I don't think it's going to be anything we can do then. Sainz, Bottas and Gasly are the last cars to pit then. We'll see what Bottas can do. He's probably the only person who can ruin our podium chances now then. But he's got 2 Ferraris, 2 Renaults and Perez in the Racing Point to clear, so it's going to be a very uphill task for him if he's going to do that. But yeah, it was a Renault 5 and 6 then between the Red Bull 1, 2 and the Ferrari 3 and 4 here, but that did not last for much longer, unfortunately for the Renault team, because Ocon then is another retirement today then from 6th place. He was having a pretty good race, I thought. We don't often see him as close to Ricciardo, I don't think. Although, having said that, I think he's actually been doing alright in this save, but it's more real life, I guess. But yeah, he was on for another good result today then, but yeah, that's 8 points down the drain then for Renault there. And well, for us though, we just had to maintain the place to Leclerc, had to hope that Bottas didn't come through the field, and well, thankfully both of those things did happen then. There was no way that we were going to spoil Red Bull's day to day. They just had too much pace over us, so we just had to make sure we hung on to this podium, didn't make any mistakes, and it's looking like for the first time in our F1 career we may well be tasting that champagne on the podium, as we just got this final chicane now to navigate, that we thought we'd ruined our weekend in qualifying, but we're going to come across the line then for our first podium in Formula 1.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
They take the checkered flag then here in Canada in what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here.
It was a near perfect weekend then for the Red Bull Racing team. The only thing they missed out on was that bonus point for the fastest lap, which went to Valtteri Bottas, who recovered then in the end to finish in 5th. But yeah, it was a Red Bull 1-2 then, followed by a Ferrari 3-4. So yeah, a bit of a coincidence really that the two Mercedes then both had issues on the same weekend, and it gave us a bit more of a unpredictable result then. So yeah, Canada, it has been known to throw out some surprise results, and yeah, I guess this was another one then. As we look further down then, those two retirements then, Esteban Ocon and Lewis Hamilton both running in the points then today, and both of them ended up losing out then in the end. So I think Hamilton will probably still be doing not too bad then in the championship, but his lead has come down now then to 33 points, so he still has quite a healthy margin. But yeah, Bottas has managed to eat into that a bit then today. Verstappen then repasses his teammate then Alex Albon, who was actually finished the last 2 races then in 2nd place, but drops down to 4th place in the championship today. We maintain our lead then over Leclerc. We actually extend it, I should say, over him then today. And looking further down then, Sainz is, I guess, the best of the rest there then, as Perez has also overtaken his teammate today. Mercedes have had their lead cut down then to 75 points then over Red Bull, who had a near perfect score then this weekend. We're still in 3rd, and then it is still extremely close in between McLaren, Renault and Racing Point, with Renault overtaking Racing Point then this weekend, and Alfa Romeo and Williams yet to score.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race. You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash? Appreciate your time.
not quite sure what Crash Claire was referring to there, but nonetheless we did survive whatever it was. I guess they just registered maybe one time where I brushed the wall of champions or something, but nonetheless we've nearly won that rivalry against Sainz. We're probably going to have to try and get a more challenging one next time then, or else it's not going to be much of a contest, I don't think. But yeah, there's no other cars that are around us now then, except maybe the Racing Points. But Red Bull is certainly too far ahead of us still then to really make one of them our rivals, I guess. But still, this was our best weekend then so far in terms of both the team and driver result. So that was very good. I thought it was overall a very interesting race as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time round then we'll be finishing off the first half of the season then with the Austrian Grand Prix. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.